In this video, we sit down with one of our partners, which has recently come on board with us to advertise their vehicle security and remapping business. And throughout the video, you'll see what it's been like working with us, the kind of results that we've been able to deliver to the business, and the actual impact it's had on the business as well. Within the first 30 seconds or so, you'll notice that the quality of the video is a bit down, but please bear with us. About 30 seconds to 60 seconds in, it flips to our normal, good quality film. If you do get any questions or would like to chat about installing our cars system into your business, reach out in the comments below, reach out in the description. There'll be a link to access one of our calendars or apply to work with us. Let us know a little bit more about your business, and hopefully we can install something like this into your business too. All right, well, without further ado, we'll get stuck in. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Where are you based? What do you do? What do you offer?
Hi guys, so I'm Luke from Track and Tune. We cover Essex and London. So we not only do we remap, we also offer vehicle security, such as ghost immobilisers and insurance with trackers, with dash cams, etc. We've been in the industry for almost 5 years now, but we've only just launched the vehicle security, which with the help of Tom, is actually taken off really well. It's taken off so well that I don't really do many maps, well I do, but the security is where it's all kicking off and it is really working really well. And I couldn't have asked for a better marketing company like Tom. He's a great guy and he definitely knows his stuff. The leads that are coming through thick and fast, and I'm struggling to keep up with them. Like genuinely struggling to keep up with them. My wife is going to be helping me learn. I'm going to teach my wife how to do all the leads, etc. So I can free my own time up so I can install more, which is better for us all.
So before you joined us, what was the issue do you think you had?
So before joining you guys, prior to working with you a few years ago, I did market before with another company, which went a bit sour. They'd done a little bit of the dirty on me, and it didn't work out with them. However, from then, I went and just done my solo stuff, and I had lots of trade work in, which kept me busy. But again, it's only busy to an extent where I might have a day or two off in the week. Whereas with Tom, I'm working every single day, and I can't book any more work in because I'm full. I'm not getting home till 8 o'clock at night some nights because I'm so busy, you know.
And you, before you joined us, you were under a different brand, weren't you? And this was
Yes.
yeah. You wanted to launch as Track and Tune, didn't you? But before, you were just focusing solely on mapping, weren't you?
Yes, yes. So before I launched with Tom, I was LJW remapping, so I was running under that, just remapping, purely just remapping. And I rebranded the company with all the vehicle security, and I wanted to launch it all at the same time with marketing. Because at the end of the day, only X amount of people are going to see you. And to be seen and heard and actually get the jobs in, you need to market. You need to spend to gain at the end of the day. Without that spend, I would have certainly not have gone over £20,000 in 1 month. You know, I was probably turning over probably in the regions around £5,000 to £6,000 every month, with a bit of spend as well, i.e. files, fuel and stuff. Now, my first month marketing, I've turned over £20,000 with Tom. Don't know exact numbers, but there's a hell of a lot of profit there. I need to sit down and actually do the calculations. But again, that's finding time because I'm so busy with your leads.
Catch 22, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's a bit of a, but like I mentioned earlier, I am going to be teaching my wife over the weekends everything that she needs to know to help to sell for me, to book clients in so I can free up some time for me, i.e. catching up with the leads, doing all my invoicing, etc. Because it is hard doing everything as a one-man band. I'm at the point already within the first month as well. I'm thinking I need to take someone on to fulfill everything that I need to do, you know? So without the help of Tom, I wouldn't be able to do that. So within the first month of working alongside Autogrowth, I'm already in my head thinking, right, I need to try and take someone on because I can't keep up. I'm not getting home till gone 8 o'clock most nights because I'm so busy, which is brilliant. It is so brilliant, you know, it's great. And I couldn't ask for anything more, you know.
And but you want out of the business a little bit more, don't you? You want to be able to work on the business a little bit. You still enjoy going out to the cars and stuff, but the goal is to help free up some of your time a little bit so you can focus on developing the business. But at the same time, you'd also like to be on the tools a bit as well. You don't want to be solely out of it.
In the long run, my ideal world is, in the long run, when I say in the long run, year, maybe 2 down the line, I would like to get off the tools. Or like you've just said, on the tools occasionally, you know, but in the long run, I would like to get off the tools. That's my goal. It's to have a number of installers across Essex, London, Suffolk, covering quite a big area, which is going to generate so much income, not only for me, but for my workers as well, because it's already there. The foundation's already there. I just need to fulfill that foundation, which I am doing with the help of Tom, you know?
It's just turning the tap on, isn't it? And when you
Yes,
speak
yeah.
about expansion,
You've definitely, you've turned the hose on.
it was yourself.
The fire brigade's turned up. I can't turn it off.
When you were looking for a marketing agency, or when you were, I remember when we first spoke, I was in Australia at the time, and I had a really good feeling when I just had one phone call with you. And this is why I think a lot of the time you do really well with customers and your clients as well, because you have such a very personable, likable character. And it's so different in a world where everybody wants to, is boring and is, whatever. You're very, charismatic and enthusiastic. When we had that first conversation, what was it were you looking for from a marketing agency? What kind of
So obviously, like I mentioned in the first question, I have marketed before with a company which was specifically with the automotive industry. And the key for me is finding a marketing company that specialized in the automotive, because at the end of the day, if you go and market with other companies, they market for every brand. How do you know? How can they guarantee these are real leads coming through your door every day? You know, because at the end of the day, they've got their set way of doing it for that bed company over there. That might be completely different to what it is in the automotive. And I spent probably a good 3 months talking with different marketing companies until I come across you. I spent ages scrolling the internet, looking, contacting different ones. And the first phone call I had with you, I got off the phone to you, and I think we was on the phone for over an hour. It was meant to be a 15-minute call, wasn't it? You know, I got off the phone to my wife, off the phone to Tom, and I spoke to my wife, and I was like, he's the guy. He's the guy for me. He's going to generate the leads. You're a genuine guy, you know? So that's what made me jump on board with you, because you knew what you're talking about. You could see my goals already within that hour of talking to me. And I know from that phone call, you was going to be able to push them goals ahead with the help from you and me, myself.
I remember us speaking about as well. It isn't like a magic pill, is it? There's work that's got to be done. I remember highlighting and talking to you about, we're both responsible for things to make this dream work for the business. You've had to do hard work, haven't you? You've had to do stuff. You've had to.
So what Tom's saying is, it's not just you're going to turn the tap on and you're going to book 100 jobs. He's going to turn the tap on and you're going to get inquiries come through that door. Them inquiries you need to sell to. And if you're not selling to them, you're not going to book them. For example, I quoted a guy last week for a brand new X4M. The guy didn't respond to me. However, at 7 o'clock this morning, he was calling my phone. I was like, what, 7 o'clock in the morning? Wow. Anyway, I left it till 9 when I was open, because I did have to take my son to school. I called him straight back, and straight away, after spending 15 minutes on the phone to him, he's booked. But yet my quote I sent through to him last week, he didn't even respond to, you know? So it's down to you to chase up things. But again, it does take time. It does take time, and you've got to be professional. If you're not professional, you're not going to book. If you're going to be going, hi, mate, yes, I can do that, that's not going to win you a sale. You need to sell yourself, sell your business.
And this is what I've seen when you're contacting customers as well. And you obviously speak to a lot of them on the phone, and a lot of them don't book in right away, do they? It's just normal. But the follow-up messages that you've been sending to customers, where you just genuinely asking if they've got any questions or concerns, and a lot of the time they reply, and either they book in or they update you on what their scenario is. Some people are ready to go ahead. Some people are still thinking about it, but you have to be willing to do that, don't you? You have to be willing to sort through it and realize not everybody that comes in as a lead is going to book in right away. Some of them will. A large percentage of them won't. And you just got to follow up with those that are interested.
You have indeed. So, for example, I had a guy this morning on the phone to me. He's actually booked with him being on the phone to me for 5 minutes. And he did start the conversation off with, I've spoke to a number of companies and no one's given me the right answer. After 5 minutes of talking to him, he was like, can I book tomorrow? Which we booked him. So just by being yourself and being a genuine person, what you've got to look at is like, when you speak to your friends, do you speak to them nice? Do you speak to them in a nice manner? You've got to treat each customer as they're your best friend. It doesn't make me a fake person. I'm just a genuine guy. So if someone is asking for something and I don't think it's going to suit them, I will point blank say, no, I don't think that will work for you. You need to go for this because this is a better option for you. Whereas a lot of people are just going, well, if that's what you want, yeah. They don't want that. They want to hear a professional's opinion. So if you're not giving them a professional opinion, you're not going to gain that sale at the end of the day.
Exactly. And I've seen you say to people as well at the same time, like, I don't think this is right. Like if it's a naturally aspirated engine for a remap, some people might remap it and just say, look, that's it now. You will see a difference. But for you, you've said multiple times to people, it isn't going to deliver what you're kind of looking for. And even like with pops and bangs and all of these different things as well, will my exhaust sound different? For somebody that is, not getting many sales in every single month, they might have to say, yes, we'll do it. It will, and lie to
Yeah,
them.
I'm not going to lie to him. I'm not going to lie to the customer. There's no point in lying to the customer. All I want is 5-star reviews and recommendations. So if you're going to lie to that client, you're not going to get 5-star reviews. You're not going to, he's more than likely going to book me because I've been honest with him. When he goes off and gets another car, because I was so honest with him at the start a year ago, he might book me next year when he's got his turbo TT, and that does happen, Tom. It has happened many times. And you've just got to look at it, be honest. At the end of the day, would you want to pay that money for that kind of gains yourself? That's what you've got to look at it like. For example, I had a client ring me while we were on that topic. I had a remap lead come through for a Range Rover Velar. I talked the guy out of remapping it, and I sold him a dash cam and a ghost immobilizer. So although he come through the remapping campaign, I talked him out of the remap because it's not going to gain a lot. He's not going to gain a hell of a lot on a Range Rover Velar when it's 30 brake horsepower. The power to weight ratio is so small, it's pointless doing. But I upsell the ghost and a dash cam to the client, and he's generally booked, and the invoice is more than what a remap would have been.
And he's
You
more
know?
happy as well.
Yeah. And he was genuinely on the phone. He was like, I really appreciate this, Luke. Most people have just said to me, yeah, you'll get this, you'll get that. But they didn't look professional. They didn't have a nice website. They didn't have reviews. They weren't honest with me, Just from speaking with me for 5 minutes, you could see I was a genuine, honest person on the phone, And the last thing I want to do is take £300 off a client for something that they're not really getting any much difference. Because you've got to look at it, like I said again, you've got to look at it like, would you want to spend that £300 and gain what you said you're going to gain and not gain much? You're not going to want to spend that £300, are you?
No, and it's just being honest with people. And like you said, if they get another vehicle, or even if they recommend their partner's vehicle or their cousins or their friends,
I've actually had that as well. I've
Have
had
you?
that. From what you're saying there, yes, I've downsold something to a client and their brothers then booked.
It's just how it works, isn't it?
Yeah.
In a world full of people that just want to take your money, if you actually go, hang on a second, I don't think this is right for you. People are like, what? You're not taking my money? Like,
No, it's crazy. It's crazy. But from the start of working with Tom, in the first month, what have we been going a month?
yes, yeah, I think we're on 35 days now.
So 35 days. So we're in the 5th week. My turnover is nearly £24,000 within that first 5th week, which is huge. Like I said at the start of the recording, I was only at £5,000 to £6,000. I've doubled, quadrupled that now from working with Tom.
Yeah.
It's an amazing thing. It's like I said when I answered the phone to you earlier, my smile was huge because I'm so happy with the amount of work that's coming in, what I'm earning, what the company's doing. It is genuinely making my day every day, and it's all down to you. It's down to both of us, but it's mainly down to you because I would have never been able to get them leads through the door the way you have.
It's a joint effort, but the majority of the effort comes from you, mate. We deliver the leads into the door. We try to warm them up, and you turn them into sales, and that's what we're going to do moving forward. And then I suppose the final two questions: what's been the best bit about working with us?
How supportive you are. You're always there. So if I message Tom, he does reply. He does give me the message back. He's straight on it. If I've got an issue, Tom is straight on it. His team are there. They're straight on it. They're working alongside me, trying to resolve any issues that we've had. Leads are coming through the door straight away. Anytime you need some support, he's there. Within reason. He's not going to be answering his phone at 10 o'clock at night every night, but he is there. To be fair, I've been on a FaceTime with him at 10 o'clock at night before, to be fair, so that's a lie. Call him anytime.
No.
Number one.
What would you say to someone who's thinking of joining and they're just not too sure, maybe about marketing, the position that you were in before?
Would say if you're struggling to get the work in and you're questioning why you're not busy and that guy is, you need to spend some money. That's what the answer is. At the end of the day, you got to spend to make. And if you're not spending, you are not making. If you look at it like this, these big companies, for example, Sainsbury's, Tesco's, Asda's, other big companies, Next, all these other huge Shell, I'm looking at a petrol garage, so I said, they market. You see advertisement. Why are they marketing? Because they want customers through their door. And you, as a small business, should market to them. You should, because at the end of the day, it's proven. I've proven it. I would not be in London left, right, and centre doing jobs here, there, and everywhere without the proof of the marketing. It wouldn't happen. It just would not happen. You
Yeah.
know, so that's what I would say. You've got to spend to make. And if you're willing to spend, you will grow. It is scary and daunting thinking, right, I've got to pay this much money each month, because at the end of the day, my marketing is actually more than my household bills, but it's making, I can't even feel it in the camera, you know, it's making so much more than what the market, what I'm spending at the end of the day. So you've got to spend money to make money.
And that's what we chatted about when you first came on board, didn't you, as well? Because Luke had a bit of an issue with, not knocking any names or whatever. It's just down to how some businesses do it. But we work with one partner per area, and you'd worked with somebody else, and there was a bit of competitiveness within the same space, the same area, and that's what led you to kind of use us, wasn't it?
It did. So I was working with a company. His goal, his main objective was we keep you exclusive. We only market for you in that area. However, I find out he's marketing for 4 or 5 different companies within the same area, which I was finding my ads pop up online worded exactly like my competitor that's up the road. And to me, that's not going to win me jobs, is it? Because I looked at that as like he's took my principle that worked and used it on all these other companies, which is then in the long run going to slow me down, because if you're working with someone, they should be only working with you in that area. Because if they're going to work for another 10 guys, what makes you different to them other 10 guys?
If they're just using exactly the same wordings, everything.
That's why it's worth the money, because you're paying for exclusivity. Can't pronounce it properly, but yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, just what would you say to someone thinking of using auto growth?
Sign up now. Yesterday. Get done. Get to work now. I would highly suggest working with Tom. He's been an absolute pleasure. He will definitely bring the leads through your door, and he'll even help you teach you how to sell to them customers as well. I had a brief understanding anyway, because I did market for 2 years, and I do see you may get 50 leads come through your door that week, but you might actually only book 5 of them. Don't feel done by. Don't get all hard done by. You've booked 5. You've made more than what that ad's cost you that week. And before you know it, you're booking 10 to 15 jobs. For example, this week I've got 15 jobs, and these jobs range from £500 to £1,200. So you do the maths. I've spent X amount. That's this much.
Because we could easily look in your system right now in your auto growth app, and we could see a massive, great big number of total value of leads, couldn't we? It'd be huge. It'd be 500,000 into knocking on more than that. But we've got to remember, it's not every single person books, do they? Only a small number do. It's just normal. Every business has it out there. It's a 10 to 20% that will actually book in.
How many people walk in a shop, look around, go, I don't want anything, and walk back home? That's what these leads are doing, yeah? And then not the occasional one, I'm actually getting them daily. No, I want to book now. I want to book now. I want to book now. But then again, that is down to how you sell to that customer.
Yeah.
So it is down to how you sell to the customer. It's down to how you approach your customer, how you talk to your customer. You can't be talking to them like your best friend, but you've got to be talking to them like they are your best friends, for example. It's a bit hard to say, You understand what I mean, don't you, Tom?
Yeah, it's a balance, isn't it? You're trying to be friendly, but caring, but also firm as well. I think this is why you do really well, is because you're brutally honest with people, like you're realistic with it, but you're also very personable. And this is why I think you're going to do really well expanding into different areas. As long as you're in front of the business still, and you'll have somewhat, degree of inside of the content and speaking with customers, I think that's why you do really, really well. You're a family man, that comes across as well, to customers, and you genuinely care about that person on the other end of a phone call, which is what people want to hear, and they want to.
Sorry, Tom. Sorry.
No, go on.
I genuinely kick myself when I don't get back to a client within an hour. I'm like, oh, they've been there for the whole day. I've had the time, and I'm like, I'm really sorry for the slow response. It's been a mega busy day installing, or I've been out with the children on a weekend, blah, blah, blah. It does me in. I'm not, I've got to respond to that person. Constantly thinking I need to respond to that person. And at the end of the day, like Tom said when I first started up with him, most of the sales are within the first 10 minutes to an hour. That's when you're going to sell. However, you can sell, you can send a quote, but they might want a day to think about it or a week to think about it, but they do come back. If you've sold to them correctly and you've shown them the most professional version of yourself compared to your competitor, you're going to book them. You will book them. You will. You've got to have a professional business.
Final thing now, but we've kind of got to look at it like you kind of don't care about the sale. You kind of, don't you agree? Like,
I don't need it. Don't need
yeah,
it. I do want it, but I don't need it.
it's like we used to have it when we had our remapping business. That we knew that we delivered an incredible service. Like, we would turn up, we were super professional. We would send them booking reminders. We would send them, what to have on their day of the remap, like what to look out for, what we're going to do. And we knew that if somebody said no, we genuinely felt bad for them because they weren't going to have this level of experience the same as somewhere else. So we kind of like disconnected and be like, look, that's absolutely fine. It's kind of your loss to some degree. And that's what you've got to kind of think of. If somebody says they're not interested, I just feel sorry for other people. You speak with conviction.
Yes, yeah, yeah. And another thing is don't be too cheap. Don't undersell yourself. Know your worth, because if you're too cheap, you're too cheap. For example, a client yesterday in London, I installed an S5 tracker for him on his Luton. But he wants me to tune his car. He had a quote from someone else. They said £180. I'm £300. There's a big difference. He's like, that's too cheap. It's too cheap. I'm not going to use him. So know your worth. Don't undersell yourself, especially if you're marketing, because you need to balance out. You need profit on the job. You need profit for the marketing. And just again, know your worth. You shouldn't undersell yourself. I would never undersell myself ever.
Yeah.
Because again, they will say you're too cheap. They'll pick the one out of the road that's a bit more expensive because he seems more professional.
And you're getting to the point now where you can start to charge more. Like
Yes.
you may get to a point where you're at capacity where it actually makes sense to charge 50 quid or 100 quid more for different services because you've got enough of the demand there that you can stop people, kind of like turn people away, but still have a lower amount and do more jobs.
Yes,
So
yeah. I do
like,
need to become, if I carry on at this rate, I do actually need to register for VAT registered, because what's going through my account is what I'm going to do is over the next 3 months, I'm going to go sit with an accountant, and I do reckon they're going to go, you need to be VAT registered because you're hitting that threshold, which again is going to benefit me because I pay VAT on files, I pay VAT on fuel, I pay VAT on everything, so without the
everything.
help of Tom, I would not have gone back registered.
It's kind of a good problem to have, but also a pain in the ass. But
Yeah, it is, because I'm already up there in the middle of the pricing, and I don't really want to increase my prices. So it will be a matter of I might be losing the 20% back here and there, but you get it back in the long run, don't you? So it is what it is.
it's yeah, you can increase prices that way as well. But Luke,
Yes.
spot on, mate. I couldn't have asked to work with a better person. I'm genuinely super, super, super excited for the future plans. Me and Luke are going to sit down as well at some point within the next few months, and we're going to start setting goals for Luke and for us to hit, so we can help deliver Luke the business that he wants. It's kind of part of the new thing that we're doing here at Auto Growth is make sure that we have some goals to set. We want to make sure that you're hitting them and you're getting to the point where you want to go. So we're going to set goals for the next 12 months, and we're going to make sure that we're both accountable and that we know what we've got to do to get Luke the business that he's always wanted. So Luke, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you very much, Tom.
Really appreciated, mate. It's a pleasure working with you. And we'll speak to you soon.
Thank you very much, buddy.